Of ITOne Infotech, I welcome you all to this session. It's a joint session between, joint session from ServiceNow and ITOne Infotech on the topic of MSP offering. So let's start. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining once again. Okay, during this session, we are going to talk about ITOne, introduction of ITOne. We will also talk about what is ServiceNow and what is MSP as an offering from our side. We will talk about MSP models. And we will later on discuss a little bit of, or you can say few of the case studies which are from different industrial aspect. And lastly, we will go ahead with takeaways. And during this session, I'll be having support from my colleagues, Mr. Pratik Singh. Pratik Singh is from ServiceNow, and Jeevan Saukar is from ITOne Infotech. Jointly, we will try to give you overall webinar. So let's start with future. So little bit info about ITOne. ITOne Infotech is actually a part of one group of companies, is an entity of one group of companies. One group of companies are holding actually 4 different entities working into different domains. One of the entity is working purely into automotive engineering. Another entity working into the segment of education into engineering and this thing. Apart from that, we also have. Apart from that, we are also having another entity which is working into food and manufacturing, and this is ITOne. ITOne is purely focusing on IT service management with the vision of becoming a single point of contact for all kind of ITSM needs. And this is how this is how we have a vision, and that is the reason we are tied with ServiceNow, and ServiceNow is supporting us in all our vision to be completed. Okay, so ITOne basically you can say ITOne is a ISO organization. We are following all ISO norms and all standards, which are 9K, 20K, and 27K. And apart from that, if you say ITOne is having vision, which itself says that we want to become a single point of, you can say, focus, providing one-stop solution towards ITSM requirements for our customer. Okay. So with this, I hand over to Jeevan, who will be taking care further from this webinar.
Thank you so much, Vijay sir. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining this webinar with us. This is Jeevan from ITOne Infotech. I'll take you through the next section. So let's take a quick look at ITOne's overall services and offerings. So kindly let me know if you are able to see our slides. We will talk about our services and offerings. So our focus is on 4 segments in the industry: IT service management, CRM, cloud solutions, and digitalized infra. And today's focus of discussion is obviously on ITSM, and within that, our key focus is on ServiceNow. I'll go to the next. So let's understand what is ServiceNow all about. I mean, it's possible that some of the participants would be well aware of IT service management in general and ServiceNow in particular. But considering that, not every person would know everything about it, I would like to take a few seconds to explain it. So if we look at any business today, it has major dependency on IT. And when we consider IT, it has to do everything with IT operations, employee workflows, and customer workflows. So whether you are servicing the entire gamut of your IT applications, IT hardware, software, or whether you are supporting your employees for different processes, or whether you are supporting your customers in terms of the service, recording their interactions, and so on. So All of that today depends on IT. But if we just consider some organizations that have bought different softwares or different point products that solve individual problems in each of these domains, does it suffice? That's the question. Ideally, that won't suffice because unless there is an integrated system that can handle everything together and bring these what we call silos together, the operations cannot be smooth and different point systems will not be able to talk to each other. They will not be aware of each other. And ServiceNow is that single unifier platform which has the features to bring everything together. We'll see some examples of how this can be done forward in the presentation. It provides great amount of flexibility and scalability. It's global application platform as a service, and it provides comprehensive out of the functionality, be it IT, employee or customer workflows. And what's great about it is ServiceNow itself is also a rapid application development platform. It provides something called as creator workflows. Creator workflows provide you the flexibility to build your own applications to cover any custom requirements that are not covered by the already comprehensive out of the box functionality. And when we consider all these things together, it's no wonder that ServiceNow has been named a leader for consecutive eighth year in the Gartner's ITSM Magic Quadrant. There is a very good reason for that. We can also say that 60% or more Fortune 500 companies are already preferring ServiceNow, and it's only growing day by day. So with that background, let's proceed. Now, ServiceNow and ITOne, this combination can really help you and really serve you as a customer because we are specifically providing managed resource services, rapid implementation, business value assessment, and so on, including custom application development. But the point is, we bring you a specific segment that is called as managed services. And let's take a look at what those managed services are. Now, when you think of any organization, let's take example of onboarding a new person joining a given organization, right? So if there are no systems, then what's going to happen? HR or recruitment team is going to interact with the candidate, collect documents from that candidate. They are going to inform over phone or email to some other department that, hey, this new employee has joined, and provide the company branded materials to him. They are going to tell IT that, hey, provide laptop to him, and so on. In absence of a tool like ServiceNow, these are activities that are handled by different departments, activities that are tracked in different applications or sometimes even in the Excel sheets. OK, so this suite that ITOne is bringing to you is capable of handling all these scenarios together. And that's the main beauty of it. So here it provides you a system to raise your issues or requests. You get the ticketing tool. When you create tickets, you are able to create multiple tasks that can be assigned to multiple stakeholders to get them completed. You can manage all your assets in the IT asset management. The management gets ready and easy to understand view using the dashboards. When an organization uses such system over a period of time, and when you have solved many issues or you have worked on many requests, then you build up a base of that knowledge, right? And you want to retain and utilize that knowledge to do your work better the next time. That is facilitated by knowledge articles. As add-ons, you can also get customer service management. Those are optional add-ons. If required, you can also get services like 24/7 L1, L2 support. I mean, I'm just mentioning 24/7, but it depends. Someone might need it 8x5, somebody might need 16x5, and so on. Different permutation combinations. You also get what is called a service level agreement. So as I mentioned, the scenario of an organization which is immature. So there will not be tracking of who does their job in how much time. But with ServiceNow in picture, we can have service level agreements, which will bring everything under the regime of service levels, so that every task or every activity has a time bound result. All this comes with a great amount of accessibility. As you can see, mobile app, service portal, email, and even telephony. These are the options you could use to interact with the ServiceNow system depending on your specific implementation. So in short, ITOne is able to bring the essential part of the ServiceNow suite to your organization under this managed services package. ServiceNow is a very vast platform. It has lots of things, but any organization that is on its journey to digital transformation, these are the essentials that you need to get started. As you become mature, you can always do more. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now let's look at what options you get under managed services. You have the flexibility to, let's say, use only the ServiceNow platform, which is managed by us. So we take care of upgrades and everything, but it's your own set of users or fulfillers who will operate the system on your behalf. They are not provided by ITOne. So you use only the platform and therefore you pay only for the ServiceNow fulfiller license. So when I say fulfiller, it is the people from the IT service desk who are going to work on the requests and issues raised by the end users. End users are called as requesters, and IT service desk people who work on those requests are called as fulfillers. But some of the customers might say that, hey, we want complete services from you. We do not want the headache of doing some part of it on our own. In that case, you can always opt for full managed services. We can provide you ServiceNow plus resources. So L1, L2, L3 in the way you want. In that case, we absorb the license fees ourselves. So these are the key options you have. Now let me go to the next one. One important question is why choose ITOne, right? So not only we have proven capabilities in implementation, support and consulting, not only we have expert team of people who are ServiceNow certified professionals, they have plenty of experience in administration as well as development. We are making ServiceNow at an accessible entry point for you. Okay, and when I say accessible, what does it mean? So ServiceNow, we have to remember it's the #1 product in its segment in the industry, and it's accessible usually to very large enterprises, who have several thousand employees and hundreds of IT people with 50, 100, 200 resolvers. So that kind of organizations might find ServiceNow accessible, but what if your organization is 500,000, 2,000 people strong and you have 3, 5, 10 people in your service desk? Well, now we have made it possible through our managed services mode that you can also get an entry into the world of ServiceNow. So that's the specialty of ITOne, apart from all the expertise and everything. So we make it accessible for you. Now let's take a look at how, in terms of the high level technical architecture, it's going to work when it gets implemented for a given organization. Now here I am not referring to a very highly mature organization where everything is already automated. Here I am referring to an organization which has started on this particular journey. Okay, so central piece of this is as seen ServiceNow ITSM. Okay, what you see on the left hand side, group 1, group 2, group 3, these are just a representation of a variety of end users that you are likely to have. And these variety of end users will use what we call as omni-channel access to work on ServiceNow or to raise their requests and issues on ServiceNow. Those options are mobile app, it's ready to use. email, very finely tuned email-based flow can be designed in ServiceNow. ServiceNow Service Portal, it's the place where you can easily access ServiceNow and do everything about it. In the backend, so for example, if somebody raises a request that my payslip is not generated, or somebody raises a request that my computer is not working. So for all of them, it's the single application which they are going to use to raise requests or to raise issues. But in the backend, different teams and different experts belonging to those teams are going to work on this stuff. OK. If ServiceNow kind of system doesn't exist, then these different groups work in their own silos. But here ServiceNow brings all of them together. All the intra communication within these support groups as and when required gets covered by ServiceNow, and all the communication that has to happen with the end users, that also gets covered by ServiceNow, and users remain updated about what's happening to their requests. One important thing that you see here is this other devices and applications box here. What this represents. Depending on maturity of your organization, you are likely to have event and alert capturing mechanisms. And if something is going wrong in your hardware or software infrastructure, then you will get automated events and alerts. But again, depending on whichever application it is, those might sit in that application. But if we integrate that with ServiceNow, you can get all that information inside ServiceNow without going to different applications for accessing the same. So this is how ServiceNow unites different segments of your organization. It brings them together. OK, let's move ahead. Now we saw already some of the benefits, but let's catch up with these benefits once again. So number one thing is we take out your headache, right? Is it impossible for you to maintain your own ServiceNow? It's not impossible, but is it feasible? Is it worth it? Right? You have the ability to get the best product, that is ServiceNow, using our help, so that you don't have to maintain a team of your own. You don't have to take the headache when there are backend changes that are happening, right? So that's the point of managed services. You don't have to worry about minimum threshold. You do not have a high entry point into the world of ServiceNow. You can find it very accessible. Entire support maintenance is taken care by us, and we will provide offerings to fit your specific organization. So whether you are a very small company, medium company, large company, or a big enterprise, no problem. We can support you. Now let's take a look at use cases across multiple industries, because no amount of theory is sufficient when we talk about implementing some product. What we need is the practical evidence. So I'm glad to share with you that we have White Hat Junior with us, which is a leading education technology company in India. They have pioneered a game-changing live online learning platform. I think many people might have seen their advertisements. The point is they are able to grow so fast because of their technology assets, and their technology assets are managed well because of ITOne's managed services. And their increase in terms of market has been very fast. In just last few months, they have gone from just a single country to 10 countries already. Their assets have grown by 50+%, and they have coped with all this with just a team of 3 people, which they started with. So otherwise, they would have gone to a higher number of resources in their team. But with this solution, they are able to cope up using less number of people. So this is a great saving for them. Let's take one more use case. One group of companies is another very important use case for us. It's our own. We have implemented it for this entire group: incident, asset, service catalog, and knowledge management. Already within just a few months, we have seen that the adoption among employees for this system is already higher than 95%. We already seen MTTR times coming down by 55%, and our internal CSAT has already grown. It's already high at 93% and growing further. So earlier, Excel-based tracking, manual forms, paper-based stuff, signatures of employees, and so on, that has all gone away already. So when we approach any customer, we are able to tell them with confidence because we ourselves use this system before we are telling anyone else. So that gives us this kind of confidence. So this was, a good look at what ServiceNow is, how it looks like in the real life, and what use cases we have. So with this, I would like to hand over to my ServiceNow colleague, Pratik Singh. So he will take you through some very interesting use cases across the global industries, and that should be very interesting for all of you.
Thank you, Jeevan, for that. And yeah, you're sharing the screen.
Okay, Pratik, would you take over?
Yeah, can you put it on side mode? Presenter mode, rather. It, wait. It's okay. I'll otherwise I have the rights, so I'll just go ahead and share my screen. Right. I hope my screen is visible, and sorry for that. Just some team problem. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking time out. I'm Pratik Singh. I represent ServiceNow, and I'm going to take you through some very interesting use cases of around the platform of platforms, as we call ServiceNow. So Jeevan was right when he was talking about Jeevan and even Vijay at the start on how you can enable so many different use cases, different ways to workflow whatever processes that you might have. And the next few slides will just talk about how different customers of ours, whether they're in the manufacturing vertical, whether they're in the automotive space itself, have leveraged ServiceNow to, workflow their business processes, reimagine a lot of their old processes, reimagine a lot of the paper-based processes, manual processes that they had into a modern digital workflow solution, right? And one example is Interstate Batteries. This was an organization which was obviously in the battery space, in the energy distribution space. So there they had challenges because they were scaling up, they were becoming bigger and bigger, and they had to manage customer services and customer interaction with multiple users that they had. Uh, with the introduction, with the introduction of ServiceNow Customer Service Management, they were now able to link the different applications, different IT capability servers that they had, and create a visibility across all the systems that they had in their install base. And not just that, proactively be able to provide campaigns or uh, information to their end customers in case something was going down within the internal IT. So now they were able to grow to 2 lakh plus dealers that they were supporting with 12,000 product lines, and they were able to respond within 48 hours. And this 48 hours was earlier few days that it took for them to solve an issue. Now, similarly with Draeger, which is again uh, a pharmaceutical company and and a manufacturing company, where they had similar challenges again. They had multiple systems in which people had to call up if they had to order a product or a service. Now, you might have seen at times you go to the website of a brand or any company, and then you want to probably come back and make the same order in your app. There is no link, or let's say you call up even with your regular phone number. At times there's no linkage between these different channels. So So there are multiple channels enabled, but they don't seamlessly hand off between each other. And that is what an omni-channel experience is. And Draeger was having challenges in achieving that. And that is the reason why they again leveraged ServiceNow customer service management in order to create a bespoke digital customer service center. So it's secure, it's self-service. They also were able to add AI ML capabilities, chatbot, virtual agent capabilities into this customer portal, so that you don't necessarily need to keep adding more and more people in order to support so many customer requests. Now, a lot of these requests were taken over by bots themselves. And by deflecting a lot of requests into a self-service portal, automatically the need for putting in a lot of people reduces. And then you can scale up. Even when you're scaling up, even when you're growing your business, you don't necessarily the same number of people or the same team strength can maintain a larger set of services to support. So they were able to achieve 24/7 customer support. There was a huge reduction in lead times, and they were able to achieve 100% digital service management. Now, this is again a very, very interesting use case, and Jeevan mentioned about creator workflows and how you can go about creating multiple business processes, digitize a lot of business processes, and kind of modernize your existing ERP systems. So this was a, a heavy industry-based manufacturer. Now, one of the challenges that they had is they were planning to move from SAP ECC to SAP or S4 HANA, and that was going to be a multi-year, multi-million dollar project. Yet they had no visibility into what the different workflows were, what the customization was within SAP. What we proposed was, and again, a lot of the journal entries that they were making, even within SAP, turned out to be manual journal entries. This was in accounting, a lot of the let's say deferment of authority, delegation of authority kind of processes, inventory check. A lot of these processes within SAP aren't necessarily tied to a particular identity, right? So they had challenges around auditability, accountability, etc. And a lot of these workflows were still paper-based manual workflows. So it was hindering their digital transformation journey. So what we helped them is we created these or automated these manual workflows are in the SAP peripheral space, and a lot of customization that had occurred in the SAP environment or in the ERP layer, we were able to bring it into the ServiceNow layer. So automatically now we've given them a path that, hey, any new customization, new business, if you're reimagining your ERP, why don't you create those workflows into ServiceNow? And tomorrow, whenever they were able to postpone their migration to S4 HANA by another 2 years, because by that time they know a lot of the processes, the technical debt would have reduced, a lot of those business processes would be achieved, they will have better control over it. So what would be left would be a very pristine or a clean SAP core, and then you can easily migrate SAP, because then it's just a database migration that you have to do. Right, so we helped them modernize this entire experience around SAP. The other example that we have is from a dealership. Now, this is actually Toyota in the European geography. Now, imagine we face this so many times. We go to any dealership, whether it's for four-wheelers, two-wheelers, and when we arrive, we tell them a job card gets created, and then they say, hey, okay, we need to replace, for example, an alternator. Yeah, that's a very common replacement. However, the dealership tells you that we do not have that part today. You have to leave the car, and you can collect the car 2-3 days later. Now, imagine if this entire experience, or I was aware of this prior to going to the dealership, and the dealership had actual just-in-time visibility into the inventory. So I would take an appointment and say, I need to change this alternator in this example, and because I was coming in today, for example, and the dealership would know I need to change this particular spare part, they would already have placed an order for spare parts in the inventory management system, and probably the spare part would have been dispatched itself and received by the dealership. So that creates a great customer experience. It's not wasting time, in friction. You're reducing a lot of friction, and that is what this dealership, what we were able to do for this automobile manufacturer. And guess what? This entire concept to production moved within 8 weeks. That's how quickly we were able to demonstrate value and put it into production. And a huge improvement in customer satisfaction. Now, similarly, a lot of manufacturers depend on business process improvement, and they want to track to track on the shop floor, factory floor. And when you ask them how are you doing it, they'll say, oh, we are relying on a lot of manual data entry that is happening on SharePoint. We are relying on spreadsheets and emails and phone calls, WhatsApp, etc. That is no way that you can structure your work. So it is, and all of this work is unstructured. So what we do is we get all of this onto a single layer, which is the uh, ServiceNow platform. And now all of this trackability, auditability, visibility comes onto the platform, which means you end up saving a lot of time. You end up improving the experience. In this case, for this particular customer, we eliminated almost 40% of the emails that were unnecessarily being mailed, being sent out, etc. They were able to save potentially $3 million in terms of cost savings by being able to track all these business processes across the organization, across the factory and shop floor. So this is the kind of improvement that we were able to do. And not just this, the the best example, and I would say the greatest example of this would be that we were able to develop this app within 7 hours. And it was not us, it was actually a citizen developer within the company. What is a citizen developer? He's able to leverage low code based platforms such as ServiceNow and very quickly create apps for them to structure their work. And imagine a citizen app developer is able to create an app within 7 hours. Okay, so that's the power of the ServiceNow platform. Now, this is when we were talking about enterprise digital service delivery. Again, a very big manufacturer of actually liquor and beer in the European geography. Now, there they had a legacy portal which was running on IBM BPM. They had, if you were tracking requests, incident tickets, and this was across different business functions, sales, marketing, vendor management was being done on a different, request management portal, etc., and master data management. All of that was reduced to a single platform, and we were able to deploy to the portal even an app to manage scrap management. Now, this is important because in factory floors, people are talking about creating control towers. They're saying, can I create a digital control tower that will give me visibility of the entire shop floor, factory floor, track wastage, scrappage, etc. With ServiceNow as your digital control tower, you can do that. Why? Because we can integrate with any of your ERPs, whether it is SAP, it could be Infor, it could be any Epicor, any of those multiple ERPs, we can integrate, we can modernize those ERP by sitting above these layers. We can integrate with Microsoft in this case, for example, and we were able to do a lot of consolidation in terms of different request tools by leveraging a single ServiceNow platform. This is the example of a heavy machinery, a company that makes excavators and bulldozers, etc. Very evident from the picture. Now over there, they wanted to improve the quality of service and better collaborate between dealers, between product teams, maintenance teams, in-house and external as well. So there they needed a case handling instrument. They also needed to manage their vendors or dealers very easily. And why did they need? Because they wanted a single platform where they could track, for example, which bulldozer is coming in, what all technical support is it? Is it, for example, within support? Is it within SLAs that they have to provide, uh, a, support or service within a certain period of time? What are the different parts that they need to service when this excavator or, for example, this bulldozer comes back to the organization? PDIs are big, before rolling out an equipment such as big equipment like this, and they are very expensive, right? They cost crores and crores, a single equipment like this. Doing that pre-delivery inspection and automating it, and automatically while you're doing your pre-delivery inspection, the inspection engineer is also leveraging the ServiceNow mobile app, able to take photographs if there's something missing, or just create a video, and it automatically gets uploaded to the PDI task that field engineer needs to work on, right? And again, track warranty, logistics, etc. So this was a very good example around that space. Now, supply chain visibility. We are seeing so many challenges with supply chain. Not just was it due to the pandemic, it is now due to the war that is happening. And in between, it was also during, when a ship got stuck in the Suez Canal. So last 2-3 years, supply chain has suddenly come to the forefront, and getting visibility into your supply chain means you're able to de-risk your business. You're able to get, better visibility into how your business is performing, and more importantly, uh, inform regulators, inform your customers, inform your shareholders as well as how you're doing as a company. So in this case, this company wanted to create a supply chain disruption app. They called it as a no surprise app. Why no surprise? Because if you know things that might potentially happen, you are already proactive. You've become proactive in your approach, etc. So they were able to create the supply chain disruption app with our low code, no code capability, our creator workflows, as we like to call it, in order to better document and communicate the issues. Now, the app has automated the real-time notification to various business stakeholders. It has auto escalation capability, based on severity type, based on event types. And what are the different issues that this app can capture? It can capture safety, it can capture quality, delivery, if there's a variance in any of your demand, or incorrect shipments, if there's a lead time violation that is big, your supplier vendor is telling that, hey, I will ship this into your warehouse in 3 days, and guess what? It is 4 days. So that's a lead time violation that has happened. Who's responsible for it? Can I automatically get notified on my app? Or can a mail be triggered, or or a case automatically created? All of those are very, very important things, and that is how we were able to help this customer. It was no more surprises, because single source of truth, better visibility, and a better experience for plant employees. Now, this was an example where we helped a customer create a connected smart factory, and they wanted to implement what they call as an integrated work system manufacturing excellence methodology. It's a methodology that ensures that there is zero loss in the factory or on the shop floor, and operators must be at the center. So there's an incentive for operators to ensure that there's zero loss. Yet when they were evaluating multiple manufacturing software, historian software, etc., that runs on a factory floor, they realized that these, even after customization, won't be able to track losses or implement that methodology, that manufacturing excellence methodology. So what they were able to do by leveraging our manufacturing foundation's capability, they were able to connect the value chain into a single flexible system of action that could easily adapt depending on how the business was changing. So all employees on the floor had the right information in the right format at the right time. For example, you have to say that this is how you need to probably, cut a piece of metal, and you have to do it repeatedly in a certain time, certain manner. And you might say, okay, now we need to make some variations because, the client has changed. Automatically, all that information could be delivered to each of the factory floor employees. Okay, so that's how we were able to uh, do this entire app. And with that, just wanted to give a very brief overview of what we call as the art of possible on the ServiceNow platform. It's an extremely scalable, configurable, as well as customizable platform, helping you digitize your workflows, you know, um, eliminate a lot of your manual processes, and provide automation and orchestration at scale. And it doesn't matter whether you are a manufacturing company, whether you're an automotive, pharmaceutical company, we have use cases, customers, and the right capability to deliver across all of these requirements. With that, I would like to pass it on to Jeevan. Jeevan, back to you.
Yeah, hi. Thanks a lot, Pratik. Give me one moment. Yeah, thanks, Pratik. That was a wonderful view of various global use cases. So with that, we are coming to the concluding part of this session today. And after this, we will get into the question and answer. So before that, what I would like to tell all of you is that, the process to reimagine your business starts now, with the combination of ServiceNow and ITOne. You can go for these managed services on this ServiceNow platform and get ready for affordable, scalable and future ready services and applications on top of it. So I would like to also tell you that, if you contact us and get a demo done by 31st of March, that is end of this month, then you will be eligible for a special discount up to 22%. So with that, I would like to conclude and open the floor for question and answers. I think we are receiving already quite a few questions. So just give us a moment and we'll start answering these questions. So some of you have asked like whether they will get this presentation. What we are going to do is we are going to share a recording of this particular webinar with you, and we'll also eventually publish this recording on our website. So you will get a recording of this webinar. OK, there is one interesting question coming around for customer service management. Do you handle front-end call center hardware in your premises or customer needs to install one? And I would like to answer that both options are possible. For example, if you already have Avaya or some other leading solution available with you to manage your call center telephony, then ServiceNow has the ability to connect with these existing solutions and it can be easily integrated with these globally well-known solutions. Having said that, it's also possible to combine ServiceNow with other solutions. So, and whether they are on-premise or on cloud, it can integrate with either of them. So hope that answers your question. What else? OK. Can you unmute Mr. Akash? He has some question. So yeah, Akash, you would like to ask something? Because we can see hand raised by Akash. Let's take a look at other. OK, so there is. Yeah, OK, there is a question that do you have SecOps services? So that's a good question. What I showed during the presentation was that we, as a part of the standard managed services package, we provide certain functionality. Having said that, if you need a specific solution, for example, SecOps, we can always sit across a table to discuss with you and provide you a solution. So ServiceNow does have SecOps. What we discussed today, it is not part of that specific package, but it can be done for you. OK, there is another question. What is the cost for ServiceNow instance, and for small manufacturing unit to automate the process, what will be the cost? Now, there are not exact hard and fast numbers that can be given at a short notice like this, because we will have to discuss with you and understand your requirement and how many fulfillers you have. Typically, it is driven by the number of fulfillers. So we could start from a low base, but it depends on how many fulfillers you have. So what you are going to get here is not a dedicated ServiceNow instance, but you get the full ServiceNow functionality like you get it in a dedicated ServiceNow instance. We are able to provide domain separated instances to our customers, and each customer has a complete independent operation, and their code as well as data remains completely separate from each other. OK. So hope that answers it, and you can always message us and we can sit across and discuss the costing aspects, because that's very specific. OK, and next question has come in. Can you share the affordability part and some commercial idea about your package? As I mentioned, we can start from as low as rupees 24,000 plus taxes. But this is just the starting point, and it depends on what exactly you need, because it's a highly flexible system with lot of options. Depends on what options you choose. Okay, it's like, if we say I want a car, but yeah, I mean there are cars from 4 lakh to 4 crores in, or even 10-15 crores in Indian market, right? So it's like that. So, but you can start very low on this platform. Okay, some people have requested emailing the PPT. Okay, what we will do is we will share the email eventually. Okay, there is another question. Do you provide services for creating front-end application based on Engage ESM in ServiceNow? So this kind of services for creating a specific application, this comes under the custom application development part of it. So we can do customizations for you. In the standard managed services, we try to stick to out of the functionality as much as possible, because we want you to get on the platform and get started as quickly as possible. But if you have need to specifically customize or specifically develop for your own organization's peculiar requirements, we can definitely address that. There is another question for manufacturing companies. What are the main functions in the standard application? So the answer to this is, whether you are a manufacturing company or whether you are a pharma company, so all organizations have to deal with n number of IT applications, right? They have to deal with employees and they have to deal with customers, no matter who you are or how big or small your company is. You have your own internal IT, you have your employees, and you have your customers, and we can provide you solutions that cover all of these. And as someone was asking, if something is not covered in all of these, then you can get a custom application built by us. Okay, so again, there is a question about domain separation. Pratik, you would like to say something about the safety and security of data or segregation in the domain separation mode? Yeah, sure. Thank you.
So thanks, Jeevan. So in terms of domain separation, there are multiple ways to go about it. We separate the processes, definitely the domain, as well as the data of the customer. So there's no commingling that is happening. And there are multiple ways that we are able to do it. One such way is what we call as ACLs, access control lists. That's one way that we are able to control all the data that is going in, and even if it is for different customers. So that's how we handle it. And overall, from a data security perspective, there are multiple ways to handle it. One of the ways is that you can put in encrypted data if that's the requirement. The data in motion, the transactions or the movement of data between your enterprise and ServiceNow is protected with TLS 1.2, HTTPS. That's another way we handle security of the data. And the database itself can be encrypted if you require that kind of deep dive security from a data perspective. And there's another way in which on runtime your data gets encrypted, and it can be encrypted using your keys when it is being sent to the ServiceNow cloud, and decrypted when it is back inside your enterprise. So there are multiple ways that we can do it. And I'll answer the next question as well, which is from Praveen Deshpande. Yes, we have a couple of custom apps around marketing automation. So I'll ask the ITOne team to take this requirement, and we can have a meeting around it later as well.
Okay, thanks a lot, Pratik, for those wonderful answers. I hope that you got answers for your questions, team. Okay, there is a question, Pratik, that's for you. Does ServiceNow provide support to NGO or charity organization with low cost?
Is your question whether any charity is using ServiceNow? So the answer is yes. And NGOs, there are quite a few, and one of them is probably international SOS kind of organizations where, yes, we are providing them services. A lot of education, federal government, state government organizations all across the world are also using ServiceNow for that matter. So we do it, but it all depends how. And from a CSR perspective, yes, ServiceNow, especially in India and globally, we do have some programs that we run around, again, CSR, NGO, supporting the local communities, etc.
Hey, thanks a lot. Okay, so I think with that we have answered majority of the questions, but you guys are always welcome to send more questions to us. We will be sharing this webinar to all of you. So yeah, so thanks for making this event successful. We are thankful to all of you. Any contact, any queries, demos, you are free to write us. You can call us, whichever way you would like to prefer, or you can reach out to our sales team if you are in touch with them. Either ways is fine with us. So here you have directly the email address of our EVP Vijay sir. So yeah, we are fully accessible. Reach out to us anytime. Okay, so with that, we would like to conclude this webinar and thank you once again. Have a wonderful evening.